Hey everybody, it's Gypsy and welcome to On the Edge of Appalachia. We are having a beautiful day so far in Northeast Ohio. Looks like it's going to be partly sunny with a high of 60. Still cool for this time of year, but looks like well, not really. I mean, it's in the 50s and 60s for the next week too, but less rain would be nice. Anyways, it is Sunday morning, May 25th, 2025, and I am driving to the flea market to vend. So, anyways, last week when I was going to the flea market, I mentioned to you guys that years ago I used to do a series on what did Jesus really mean. Now, the reason I chose to do that is because I really feel like not just Christianity, but every major religion, I believe, has misinterpreted what their ascended master was trying to say, and the parables in their religion. Because I really feel everything is like a metaphor with any type of religion or spirituality. When something is, look at that beautiful sky. So people misinterpret the stories and then people don't want to believe that through the centuries, every time it's written down and it's being changed from one language to another, there's going to be mistakes. Okay, and I know my pastor, when I was a Christian, used to say the Bible is the only book that never happened with. Well, I never believed that. I don't think it's possible. Anyways, that being said, that is why I started doing that, because I'd be sitting in church and we would be talking about something in the Bible, and the priest or the pastor, depending on what point in my life it was, would talk about that scripture and what it means, what Jesus meant. And I would be like, no, I don't think so. It's not resonating, didn't feel right. My intuition was telling me no. And I also believe that evil people got involved at some point when translating for their own greedy purposes. And so we have to be aware of that too. So that's why I talk about this stuff. Now, am I saying I'm right? No, I'm not sure I'm right. It's what I strongly feel he meant, or what the Bible was saying. But I can never be 100% sure that I'm correct. I can't. And like I said, question everything. As you can see, I did. I was not vocal about it. I was very shy and quiet. But I would sit there in church and analyze. And, I believe it's okay if it means something else to me than it does to you. I really believe that's okay. But anyways, since it's spring and everybody's getting their gardens going, I wanted to talk about this video I had done, I don't know, a few years back. I think I was living on the road at the time, but it was long before I fell. Had my surgery. Can't remember exactly when it was. But anyways, I talked about the Garden of Eden and that story. And again, I believe it is a metaphor. And this is how I believe personally, okay? Take it or leave it. I'm not forcing it on anybody. This is my theory. I know I'm not 100% sure, but it is what I strongly believe could be possible. So, the Garden of Eden, I do not believe was one specific place on the planet. I believe in this story, the whole planet was the Garden of Eden. Now, why I believe this is because when you look around at the wild animals and all the creatures and everything in nature, they're all provided for. I don't see them picking up their purse or wallet and going to a store to buy their food or anything. They just go out into nature and get it because the Creator already has it there. Okay, so why would we be different? The only reason we're different is because being the most intelligent life form on this planet, we are so smart. We're stupid. And so I believe we worked our way right out of the natural system. Okay, so you've got the Garden of Eden, which to me is planet Earth. And Adam and Eve eating the apple, etc. So knowledge. I'm trying to explain how I fit that in, like what I feel about it. We were given knowledge just by merely being given intelligence. We have the ability to work things out. But I think what happened was we worked things out to the point we backed ourselves into a corner. We told Creator God, no thank you. We're not going to go and use what you provided for us. We're going to create something new. Now, by refusing God's gifts of what He left for us on this planet, we said, no, okay, that got us kicked out of the Garden of Eden. And we decided to go with our own knowledge and create something new. And when we did this, we walked right into the hands of evil. Now, I don't consider snakes evil or even symbolically evil, but I guess in this case, in this story, it's supposed to be, so let's go with that. We walked right into the hands of the serpent, so to speak. Now, the serpents would be the evil, greedy ones I mentioned at the beginning of this video. They control everything. They are the few, I'm going to air quote, elite bloodlines. They control us. Okay? Instead of relying on our Creator, who is much more intelligent than we are, even though we come from the Creator, we are pieces part of the Creator. We're not tapping into our full abilities, and we were brainwashed into that by this very same serpent I'm telling you about. We have been under that serpent's control. We said no to what God gave us on this planet. And if you look, those beautiful trees and I mean, it's all there. I go into the woods and against everybody's, well, most people's better judgment, I will forage. I see what's around, and I do research, I learn, I am careful about it. But I do forage. It's all there. It's all there. And, yes, meat also, okay? That's a whole other topic, but it's all there. So we gave up the Garden of Eden. voluntarily. We didn't really get kicked out. It was humanity's choice to turn our back on this beauty and everything being provided for us. I mean, it goes everything from food to energy. There are other planets where their energy is free because they know how to get that energy for free. It's all there. All of it has been provided. We should be no one's slave. The only work we should be doing is to keep our household and our family going. You know, working the land, hunting, whatever style your family chooses. I am not going to tell anyone what that should be because I believe everybody's unique and different, and I can't go around judging others and telling them what to do. Who am I to do that? I don't, it's like, what do I know? I'm Italian. I say something, what do I know? Okay, and it's true. What do I know? I'm just telling you my viewpoint on this. What do you say on social media? POV or something like that. And I believe humanity is working on getting it back right now as we speak. Because the first step to solving a problem is the realization that there is a problem and why it's a problem. And I think we have already come to that point, and we've crossed over into, okay, now what do we do about it? So I believe that's where we are now. Okay, the Garden of Eden is Earth. Maybe we should have named Earth Eden. But I truly believe that. I've traveled, a fair amount in my lifetime. When I was younger, I would travel. Come on, guys. I got 2 birds and a black squirrel all in front of the car. Come on, guys. Honey, go on. Back into there we go. Sorry about that. What was I saying? Oh yeah, I traveled a lot overseas when I was younger. And I've, in my older years, I lived on the road. I traveled this country coast to coast. Every place I have been on this planet is beautiful. Now, I'm taught, you guys know I can't stand cities and stuff like that. That's just me. I hear Dubai is beautiful, but I don't know that I could stand actually being there, if that makes sense, because it's just sensory overload for me, I guess. But anyways, I think we are bringing it back. But that is my theory of the Garden of Eden. It's metaphorical to me. It's not literal. And that is the point I get. That's the lesson I learned from that Bible story. And I'm not belittling anyone's beliefs. I don't like doing that. If I do it, it's by accident. But anyways, I think it's a wonderful thing that we have come to this realization. We are trying to get out of the grasp of the serpents and bring back our Garden of Eden. Because look at that, I am driving through, I do this every weekend, going to the flea market, a beautiful nature conservancy. We have a lot of those here in Ohio. And, I really believe we're bringing it back. The National Herb Society is right up the road. And I think we're trying to relearn how to use these plants, both medicinally and nutritionally. And it's a good thing, because that is what the Creator gave us and left for us. So, I had one of my nature and spirituality To me, you can't have one without the other. Talks this morning. I am going to leave you with that and go vend, and then hopefully the weather cooperates this week and I will get to garden. Last week, and it literally was a washout. It just rained constantly. So I'm going to leave you with that. Blessed be, and make it a joyful one.